Okay, time to get started. It's Tuesday, Lenny's Daily Podcast, and he is out today, and I will explain why as soon as we get some chat going. We have a chat going, but it takes a second for the sound to come on in the chat room, and we don't like our friends to miss out on the good stuff. So, sound is good. And refresh, everybody. All right. Let's get started. Welcome aboard, everybody. So Lenny just taken a trip to the dermatologist this morning. Nothing big. He just loves to sit outside in the sun, so we always send him about once a year to get his skin checked out, and he's off and running to the dermatologist. I am very glad to be back with you people in the chat room, my friends, my baseball family here. We really do consider you. No, Lenny's not getting another colon check. He's actually at the dermatologist. Just a normal routine once a year checkup to make sure all that sun he gets isn't causing any problems. So it's just a routine checkup, and we really appreciate everybody coming to the chat room. Data Premier, Danny Fuller, Eddie Heckman. Eddie, I'm going to talk to you in the next couple weeks. I might be coming down to Baltimore before the end of the season. James Caprelli on. John Garofalo, whoopee, nice to see you, Johnny G, all the way on the West Coast. And another West Coast guy is Mal Pal. Lenny was here. I told him he should be listening in the car, but that's just, we'll see if that happens. Robert C., Rotorius, King Turd, All-Star Dog, and a cast of thousands. Unfortunately, I can't, let's see, can I scroll down? No, I can't scroll down too far on my tablet, which is what I have going on right now. So it's great to have all of you in the chat room, and let's just go ahead and get started talking some baseball. Lenny wanted me to point out this. He talked about this yesterday, but the comparison between Ohtani and Babe Ruth. So let's first just do a rundown of Babe Ruth. He had 159 home runs in his first 674 career games. His win-loss record was 35-18 in his first 455 innings pitched. Ohtani, 160 home runs in his first 674 career games. Win-loss record, 35-19. Basically, same number of innings pitched, same number of career games. At this point in their career, Ohtani has 160 home runs, Babe Ruth 159. Ohtani's win-loss is 35-19, and Babe Ruth's win-loss is 35-18. So, if you want to talk about Ohtani being the next Babe Ruth, by all means, have at it. And I think there's some people who could argue that Ohtani is actually better than Babe Ruth, because a lot of this times when, yes, that's the picture, that's exactly right, that came from a Vintage Baseball Photos. And hey, Poncho, nice to see you. J.R. Manson family here, love it. We just can't give enough love to Ohtani, right? And by the way, we could probably say that today is National Ohtani Day in the chat room. I like to name the days after a player lately. It's pretty fun for me. Ohtani is definitely the man of the day today. Hello, Zelmo. Great to see you. Unholy, if you're here, say hello. I can't really scroll down far enough to get down to the U's and W's and D's, but I hope Unholy is here, one of our favorites, with his dogs. Now, Christian Encarnacion Strand made his debut. He, according to Sarah Langs, who we love for her research, Christian Encarnacion Strand has become the longest full name on record in Major League Baseball history. All right, if you consider both first and last names and including the hyphen within the latter, the Reds prospect gets credit for 27 character. That easily beats out the Twins' Simeon Woods Richardson, who debuted with the 22 character name in 2022. Just an interesting tidbit. Absolutely no value at all for fantasy. But, so Now here's a one for the chat room. Let's go chat room. All right. Here's the question of the day. There are only 3 players with 15 or more stolen bases and 15 or more home runs this season. Let's go. I don't want you looking this up. It's pretty simple. I mean, at least the first 2 are pretty simple. But let's get some guesses going in the chat room. There's 3 players with 15 and 15 on the season. Go ahead and give your guesses in the chat room. Hello, Leonard Donaldson. Nice to see you. Unholy is here. Wonderful. The Phillies have now listen to this. The Phillies have blown saves in 6 games since May 4th, and they've won every single time they've blown a save since May 4th. Yes, Gibbs, of course. Acuna, nice to see you too. Acuna is one of the 3. Mets are one of at least 8 teams heavily scouting Japanese Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He can be posted this offseason. He's 24 years old, so similar to how old Ohtani was when he came. Now, this guy in Japan, he's a pitcher. He has an ERA under 2 each of the last 5 seasons as a starter in Japan. Nope, it's not Luis Robert. It's not Tatis. It's not Adolis. King Turd got another one. So far we have Acuna and Corbin Carroll. There's one more, which I think Stardog should take a guess here. That's a hint if you know Stardog and what team he follows. I'm glad you're here, Unholy. That's all you need to know. Meryl, great to see you. Very nice. I hope Mitchell comes soon. So this new Japanese pitcher, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, is being posted this offseason. He's 24 years old, and each of the last 5 seasons, his ERA has been under 2. Yes, J.R. Matt, Witt is the guy. Now, we have Acuna, Corbin Carroll, and Bobby Witt all at 15-15 we still have a couple months left in the season. I would say baseball is at its peak for exciting players. The Marlins fell to the Cardinals 6-4. Now they've lost 4 in a row, so that's too bad for repeat. What do you want me to repeat? Poncho, tell me what you want me to repeat and I'll do it. All right, there have been 15 losing streaks of 7 or more games this year, and the Athletics own 4 of them. The question was, which are the 3 players in baseball this season to have at least 15 homers and at least 15 stolen bases? And it's Witt, Acuna, and Corbin Carroll. The Angels are 8-26 in games played in July in the last 2 seasons. So basically, the Angels are pretty sucky in the month of July. And that says a lot. It's just tough to justify hanging on to Ohtani at this point. And we are going to talk, Lenny and I have discussed, Lenny's really into these, trade rumors. He loves to talk the trade rumors. He loves to listen to what, the rumors are and stuff. And for me, I pretty much don't believe any of it until I see it. And especially when the rumors are coming from teams that just don't make sense. I mean, common sense can go a long way in figuring out who isn't going to get traded and where they're going to go. I mean, I like Jeff Mans a lot. I respect him. He talked about on Sirius about that the Yankees were getting very close to trading Volpe, Cabrera, and Jason Dominguez for the Angels, and it made sense for the Yankees. I immediately, of course, went to Malpal and texted him what Jeff Mann said, and Malpal, immediately came back and said it doesn't make sense. The Angels already have a very good young shortstop that's better than Volpe even. So it wouldn't make sense for the Angels to take Volpe in the trade. And okay, that's as far as you got to go. But as far as which teams are going to be sellers, at the deadline or buyers at the deadline, it's impossible to know until it gets close to the deadline, because you have teams like the White Sox who just 3 weeks ago could have made a case for competing in the AL Central, which is one of the worst divisions in baseball, but still, you can't really go trade off your pieces if you're going to win. And we do have some, I do pay attention to the Fangraphs chance, like they list the teams and they say the chances of making the playoffs. And I will tell you right now that the White Sox are currently at 2% to make the playoffs. So, I mean, that's changed a lot just in the last couple weeks. And you have to say to yourself, all right, why would they keep these players that they have if they can't win? Same with the Cubbies. I think the Cubbies have an 8% chance of making the playoffs. And of course, this is just, it's not permanent chances. It's not like set in stone. It's going to change. But, you know, you got the Cardinals are interesting and a lot of these teams, but the Angels have fallen apart completely recently. Here's another rumor. Mark Feinsand, MLB guy, says his information from an unnamed source is that Dylan Carlson has surfaced as a potential Yankees trade target. Now, this could make sense because the Cardinals announced yesterday that Tyler O'Neill would be taking over the left field job when he comes back from the injured list. So a trade of Carlson, who is a switch-hitting outfielder, it wouldn't be that surprising, and it does make sense. And the Yankees are on the downslope for sure. Great to see you, King Half. Triple play. Wonderful time over here is being had. Josh Donaldson's calf strain is a high enough grade that it's considered a tear, and he doesn't have a timetable to return, and he doesn't know if he even has a shot to make it back this season. On the other hand, for the Yankees, Oswald Peraza, who got totally gypped out of playing this year thanks to Volpe, no offense to Volpe, I think he's great. But going into the season, I drafted Oswald Peraza on a lot of teams. He is a shortstop for the Yankees, and he did come up last year, played the end of the season out very good, showed that he can hit and steal bases, great at the shortstop position. He's been gypped. He's stuck down in the minors all season. He got on base 5 times yesterday at AAA. He saw 34 pitches all by himself in that game. He has a 9.6% walk rate this year. And when he came up to the majors, he only walked 3 times in 39 plate appearances. So he didn't do well when he came up for that, but he's got a solid batting eye. And now with Josh Donaldson, we don't know if he's coming back this season. Peraza could have a chance to get a regular role before the trade deadline. He's batting 235. No, this is when he was up in the majors. 235 with a 409 on base percentage, 4 RBIs, 5 runs scored, and 4 stolen bases in 14 games this season. Also, down in the minors, in 188 at-bats, Peraza has 12 home runs, 11 stolen bases with a 261 batting average and a 352 on-base percentage. So clearly this guy is a better on-base percentage guy than average. But he is very fantasy-worthy if he can at least get some playing time, which he's been gypped out of, okay? Hello, Mitchell. Great to see you. Daniel, good to see you too. Wonderful. Ohtani, here we go. Like I said, if you missed it at the beginning, today is officially Shohei Ohtani Day in the chat room. He has hit as many home runs in the 7th inning or later over the last 28 games as any other Major League Baseball player has hit total during that time. That's the most home runs in the 7th inning or later over a span of 28 games in Major League Baseball history. Ohtani's first 95 games this season, 35 homers, 75 RBIs, and 359 at-bats. You've got to be kidding me. He's on pace for 150 RBIs, 70 homers. This guy pitches, he hits. I get excited. I know I sound like an idiot, but I'm telling you, this guy is better than Babe Ruth. No question about it. If he continues to do this, hold on, that's Lenny. Let's put him on the air. Hello, Leonard, you're on the air.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, I'm sorry.
You're on the air. Should I turn you off speaker?
Yeah, goodbye. I'll call you back.
Okay, bye. Wait. Are you there? I hope he didn't need something. Let me call him back real quick. I won't put him on speakerphone. I just need to make sure that he's okay. He sounded a little bit anxious. Let's see what he says.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I just need the name of the pharmacy. What's the name of the place?
The name of the pharmacy is Stop and Shop on...
All right, goodbye.
Okay, bye. Okay, everybody, I'm back. All right. Angels star Griffin Canning threw an MLB high 120 pitches yesterday and struck out 12. He left with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 6th versus the Yankees. They still beat the Yankees. The Guardians are the only MLB team in the live ball era, which is 1920, to go 9 up, 9 down without getting the ball out of the infield through 3 innings, but then score a run in every inning after that. No, he called. He needed to know the name of the pharmacy that we go to. Believe me, I know how to read his voice, and I know that he was sounding flustered, and I don't like him to be flustered when he's out and about, so I had to call him back. I apologize for the interruption. Aaron Savale is, he's actually controllable next year, but he's one of the starters on the trade market this summer, and the chance of a deal has increased amid the Guardians' recent struggles. See, I'm not sure that I believe that, because yes, they're struggling, but they still have a chance. Are they still competing with the Twins at all? I mean, I haven't looked at the standings, but it's hard to believe that everybody in the American League East is just going to start selling off their players that matter when it's a crappy division. I get it, but still, if you have a chance to win your division or make it to the playoffs, how do you justify selling off players like that? Especially when I don't know. That's just my opinion. All right, Nick Pivetta. Let's talk some Nick Pivetta. I mentioned to you kids that Pivetta going to the bullpen is not that bad for fantasy managers, especially because he doesn't have to pitch a whole 5 innings to get a win, and he's still doing his thing. He's pitching multiple innings. In fact, when Nick Pivetta comes in, is typically after an opener who just comes out and pitches like 1 or 2 innings. Boston's been using an opener lately a lot. Now, Nick Pivetta is the only MLB pitcher in the modern era to strike out at least 65% of batters that he faced in a game, and he allowed no hits, and he faced over 20 batters. So I will talk more about Pivetta as we move along. There's some information about Alex Cora saying that he's possibly going to move Pivetta back into the starting rotation. It doesn't matter one way or another to a fantasy manager whether he's starting or whether he's coming in after the opener. The fact is, he only needs 3 innings and he can get a win as a reliever, and he seems to be doing much better now that he's in the bullpen. I would say, Lenny and I, he needed a pitcher in an only league. We picked up Pivetta, who was dropped right after he got demoted to the bullpen, and Lenny was giving me crap for it, telling him to grab Pivetta. But I do think that here it is. He doesn't need all those innings to get a win. If he's doing better in the bullpen, sometimes that's all it takes. I've seen a lot of pitchers that can't manage to be a starter who move to the bullpen and do great. Now, the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw will throw a bullpen session today. He says that he has no pain in his shoulder since he got a cortisone injection in Colorado. But think of this. The Dodgers have 4 rookie starting pitchers: Miller, Stone, Sheehan, and Grove. They have a combined 6.08 ERA. But, and there's a big but here, the Dodgers have won 16 of their 25 starts. So they're at least, you know what? They're giving them enough to get the win. Also, Dodgers news, Chris Taylor joined teammates Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, and James Outman with the multiple grand slams this season. The Dodgers are the 4th team all-time to have 4 players with multiple Grand Slams in a season, okay? And Mookie Betts, he started 4 consecutive games at second base since Miguel Vargas was demoted, and 8 of the past 9 games on the infield. He's hitting like a monster right now, too. Over his last 18 games, 400 batting average, 8 doubles, 10 home runs, 22 RBIs, and a 1.479 OPS. Oh, yeah, I'm a Dodgers hater. That's the truth of it, but I still have to tell you what's going on with them because they're always in the news. I like Mookie. I like Outman. I like some of the players. I have no problem against them. I just hate the Dodgers. The Cubbies dropped 2 of 3 this weekend, but Marcus Stroman made it clear he wants to stay in Chicago. So, chat room, you make the decisions. Which should the Cubbies keep Stroman or Bellinger or both or trade both? I'd like to hear from the chat room on that one. The Cubbies did drop 2 of 3 this weekend, and like I said, their Fangraphs chances to make the playoffs have dropped substantially recently. The Yankees lost for the 7th time in the last 9 games. Last night it was 4-3 to the Angels in 10 innings. The Yankees are currently tied for last place in the American League East, but only 2 games out of a wild card spot in the American League. So they still have a chance. Now, this is for you, Eddie. Dean Kremer, I drafted this guy, okay? He was a youngster going into the season, not a lot of experience, probably had like a 4-something ERA last year, but there were things that I liked about him, so I took a chance on him late. Dean Kremer generated 30 called or swinging strikes among his 97 pitches en route to his 9th quality start of the year. The biggest problem for Kremer is giving up too many home runs. If he could keep the ball in the park, which he hasn't been doing very great lately, that's the only thing standing between him and a true breakout. So what do you think? Okay, we got some interaction in the chat room. Leonard Donaldson says the Yankees get Bellinger. Unholy Big Cubbies guy says Stroman is going for sure. I will be very sad if they trade Bellinger. I think he's a great fit for Wrigley, great fit for this team, and he's been I don't know. It seems like Bellinger is fitting in great for the Cubbies. I would hate to see that. Danny Fuller says if the Cubbies can get 5 young prospects, they should trade. Jay Gibbs says that Dennis Timko and him have loved Kramer for 3 seasons. That's great. I didn't see you pushing Kramer in the chat room last year when we were drafting. Don't keep secrets from the chat room, Jeremy Gibbs. All right. Patrick Bailey, the catcher in San Francisco. The Giants have been 32-18 since they called this kid up. He's effective. The other day on Friday, he stole his first career base, so don't expect him to be stealing a lot of bases, but he's excellent at throwing potential base runners out as well. He's not going to run all the time, but it was exciting to see. He was effective on both sides of the stolen base equation on Friday. Now he's hitting .290 with a .320 on base percentage, 5 home runs, 27 RBI, 15 runs scored, 11 doubles, and a triple over 41 games. He's not hitting good in July, but overall he's doing great. He's batting .167 this month. Now the playoff chances via Fangraphs. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'm only going to go through the ones that I think are important as far as the trade deadline comes. The Yankees have a 42% chance still of making the playoffs. The Red Sox a 30% chance of making the playoffs. The Mets are down to 13% chance of making the playoffs. I wonder if the chat room, you can give any kind of input you want on these teams. I thought these teams were the most important to just bring up because of the trade deadline. The Angels, 7% chance. The Cubbies, 7%. The Cardinals, 6%. The White Sox, 2%. And the Pirates, Nationals, Rockies, Royals, and A's, obviously, all of those are well known, 0% right now. After getting swept by the Blue Jays, the Diamondbacks dropped to third place in the National League West and are 11-17 in their last 28 games. So after a great start to the season, the Diamondbacks are flailing. The Rays started off their season 29-7, and they've since gone 31-29, but it's still the fourth best record in the American League East. And over that same span, the Orioles have had the best record in the division, 35-22, and they are seriously now just one game back of Tampa Bay after winning straight 8 games. Does Ohtani drink more than Ruth? I highly doubt if he does. But you've seen his cowboy hat, right? You never know. I highly doubt he does. All right. And the Phillies. The Phillies are just a half a game out of the final wild card spot and just one game out of the top wild card spot. The Phillies were a season worst 7 games under 500 on June 2nd. They've since won 26 of 36 to move to a season high 9 games over 500. They're 51-42. Only the Braves have a better record in the majors over that span, and their playoff odds are 69.4%. That was a couple days ago. They change these playoff odds, they change every day. So, all right, and a little tidbit on Josh Naylor about how Josh Naylor is doing great. The Guardians are struggling offensively, but Josh Naylor, no, he's on pace quietly to drive in almost 120 runs. He also has 126 weighted runs created plus. He looks like a middle-of-the-order fixture in Cleveland for years to come. The Dodgers, Danny, beat Baltimore 6-4, snapping the Orioles' 8-game winning streak. Baltimore remained a game behind Tampa Bay atop the American League East. Grayson Rodriguez, he got sent back down after a couple starts. He was recalled to make yesterday's start. He was sharp early, and he reached triple digits with his fastball. He allowed 4 runs in 5+ innings. Emmett Sheehan, another Dodgers rookie, 4 runs in 5 innings. And Ryan Brazier, first save since joining the Dodgers last month. Freddie Freeman, a triple, a double, and a single. Adley Rutschman homered. Mountcastle, RBI double. Gunnar Henderson, RBI triple. J.D. Martinez, RBI single. I told you earlier, Chris Taylor hit his second grand slam of the season and 6th of his career. He actually hadn't hit a grand slam since 2017. Of course, Cedric Mullins missed a second straight game. Dodgers dogs suck. They suck. They're not good. I've had a Dodgers dog before. Believe me on that one. The Mariner dogs are much better up in Seattle. Tyler Wells goes up against Michael Grove tonight. I don't know if you heard that, but Cedric Mullins missed another game over quad tightness. The Guardians beat the Pirates 11-0, and they ended a 4-game losing streak. Josh Naylor, 3 RBIs with a home run and a double. Naylor extended his hitting streak to 8 games. The Guardians had 3 2-run homers yesterday after a 47-minute rain delay. Cleveland had totaled only 10 runs during their 4-game losing streak. Now Pittsburgh has lost 4 in a row, 8 of the last 9, and 11 of 13, falling a season-high 12 games below 500 at 41-53. They started the season 20-8. They were shut out for the 10th time and held to 4 hits or fewer for the 17th time this season. Cleveland pitched its 9th shutout, 1 shy of a big league high. Michael Kelly struck out 2 and allowed 2 hits in 1 2/3 for his first major league win. Quinn Priester came up, the 4th-ranked prospect in the Pirates system. He allowed 7 runs and 7 hits in 5 1/3. It was his major league debut yesterday. Andres Jimenez, a 2-run homer. And Jose Ramirez, an RBI double. Tonight, my boy Logan Allen, Logan Allen tossed 7 2/3 shutout innings over his previous 2 starts. He's going up against Mitch Keller. That's pretty tough, but I'm still taking Logan Allen, all right? The Giants and the Reds were suspended yesterday. No, it's not Logan Allen I'm talking about. I need to take that back. Who's the Allen in San Francisco? You see, the very next thing my notes say is that the San Francisco game was rained out. So then I go back and I say, what? Who am I talking about? Logan Allen is the Guardians pitcher, but he's good too. I've told you guys before I like him. He's got a 3.47 ERA on the season. And, you know, I remember when he was called up. He's pretty good. The Guardians have a good way of bringing up young pitchers. He's going up against Mitch Keller tonight. The Reds and the Giants were suspended. The beauty of doing live podcasts, you guys, you can't make a mistake and edit it out. But all right, you just admit you screwed up and you move on, right? That's the way it works. Okay, all right. Hold on. The Cardinals beat Miami yesterday, 6-4. They extended the Marlins' losing streak. Who's the pitcher in San Francisco that I love? His name is either Logan or Allen. Help me out, Poncho, someone. Logan Webb, thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Moving on. The Cardinals surprisingly have won 6 of 8, but they remain in the NL. They remain last in the National League Central. They're tied with Pittsburgh. Before the game, the president of baseball operation, John Mozeliak, said, "Change is coming to St. Louis." He might be suggesting that this team is going to trade some veterans for prospects at the trade deadline, but he did say, in his own words, change is coming. Miles Mikolas threw 6 solid innings on 2 days rest, 3 runs, 7 hits. Arenado drove in 4 runs. I love this guy, okay? This guy is a great baseball guy. Great clubhouse leader, great veteran, still crushing it. He's batting .340 on the season with 14 RBIs. He's batting .340 with 14 RBIs in his last 14 games. Not .340 on the season, but still, Arenado, okay. Dylan Carlson drove in the other 2 runs and scored 3 times. Dylan Carlson trying to get a job, I think. Playing real hard right now, hoping that he gets traded so he could play every day. Pitch hitter Nolan Gorman doubled. Jordan Hicks got his 8th save. You don't even want to know what I think of that. De La Cruz homered for the Marlins. And Edward Cabrera may be activated as early as tomorrow. Tyler O'Neill could be activated as early as today. It's about freaking time. This guy's been sitting in one of my injured spots all year long. Adam Wainwright and Ryan Helsley were each scheduled to throw up a mound today. And tonight you get to see Jordan Montgomery against we don't know yet because the Marlins have not announced a starter. The Rangers improved 4-0 since the All-Star break, with 3 of the victories coming on rallies in the 6th inning or later. Aroldis Chapman's first win. This guy was on fire yesterday. Aroldis Chapman is not messing around, okay? It's his first win yesterday since being traded to Texas. He unleashed the 2 fastest pitches of the StatCast era. All right, and struck out the whole side in the 9th. Now, Will Smith is the closer in Texas, but Chapman was Bruce Bochy's choice in the top of the 9th when the score was tied. So the Rays, they still have the best record in the American League, despite a 3-9 mark in July. McClanahan allowed 1 hit through 5 innings. He retired 14 consecutive batters and faced the minimum through 5 innings, but everything went to hell in the 5th inning. He gave up 3 hits and 2 runs in 6 innings, leaving he only needed 69 pitches to get through 6 innings, and that was great. He made it through 6 innings, 69 pitches. That was his first start since June 30th. Josh Young led off the bottom of the 9th with a double. Ezekiel Duran hit an opposite field home run. Josh Lowe a solo shot. And Yandy Diaz returned from the paternity list and singled to start the game. Tonight you get to see Taj Bradley, who has allowed 16 earned runs in 12 and a third innings over his past 3 starts. Not good. Against Nathan Eovaldi, who is 9-1 over his past 15 starts. The Washington Nationals beat the Cubbies yesterday 7-5. The Cubbies have lost 3 of their last 4. Mackenzie Gore went 6 1/3 to win for only the second time since April. He allowed 5 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 6 and walked 2. Drew Smyly dropped his 3rd straight decision. He allowed 5 runs and 8 hits in 6 innings. Despite the fact that he struck out 7, he has a 9.86 ERA in his last 4 starts. Keibert Ruiz hit a 2-run homer. He went 3 for 3 with a double. He homered for the 2nd straight game and has 7 hits in his last 14 at-bats. He has 11 homers on the season, and his 35 RBI are 1 short of his total from last year. His batting average is still just .235, but Dave Martinez sees him evolving as a hitter. Hello, Scotty Bandit. Great to see you. Heimer Candelario launched a 2-run drive in his return to the lineup. Stone Garrett doubled twice among his 3 hits. Luis Garcia, 2 RBIs. Ian Happ and Patrick Wisdom each had 2-run homers. Cody Bellinger got 2 hits. Christopher Morel, RBI single. And Kyle Finnegan got his 12th save and first save since May 27th. The Nationals placed Hunter Harvey on the 15-day injured list with a right elbow strain that's retroactive to Sunday. He won't throw for 10 days, according to Martinez. Also, the Nationals reinstated Patrick Corbin from the paternity list. We love all these babies. Lenny would totally disagree with me and say, don't let your wife have a baby during the season. But that's impossible. So Dansby Swanson took batting practice. He ran and he worked out on the field. He's progressing slowly, according to manager David Ross. What do you guys think of that? Dansby Swanson progressing slowly, in quotes, from David Ross. I would say that sucks. That's not a great, I don't know, it just doesn't sound promising, right? Dansby Swanson, left heel bone bruise. So he did take batting practice, and he ran, and he worked out on the field. That's a good sign, but it's not a good sign to say he's progressing slowly. That just means we don't know when he's coming back. The pool is not open. They are building a security gate over by the pool, and they got that whole road closed on that side. And I'm pretty sure that something with the electrical happened. It's right near the pool, but no pool today. And that's okay, because Lenny's out doing other things. Nick Madrigal is ahead of schedule and could go on a rehab assignment at the end of the week. And tonight, Patrick Corbin, brand new baby, he's going against Jamison Taillon. The Detroit Tigers beat the Royals 3-2. The Royals have lost 9 of their last 11 games, and they dropped to 27-68, last in the American League Central. Now, how bad do you have to be last in the American League Central, right? Poor people. At least they're not last in the whole American League or all of baseball. They got Oakland at least to pad the, the bottom for them. Jordan Lyles, 3 hits, 6 shutout innings. Matt Manning gave up 2 runs and 4 hits in 5 2/3. Alex Lang struck out 2. He got a 15th save and 18 chances. Freddie Furman, the catcher for the Royals. I picked him up when I was desperate. He had 3 of the Royals' 6 hits yesterday. Zach Greinke threw a bullpen session yesterday. He's expected to return to the mound Thursday. Tonight you get to see Tarek Skubal making his 3rd start of the season. He's going up against Daniel Lynch. Here we go to get to talk about the Angels and the Yankees. Ohtani tied the score in the 7th inning with his major league leading 35th home run. The Angels beat the Yankees 4-3 in 10 innings, by the way. Ohtani has homered in 3 straight games for the 6th time in 6 seasons and surpassed his home run total for last year. Can you believe this? He already passed his home run total from last year when he was a stellar player, okay? He's homered 19 times in his last 31 games. Last night, he had 3 hits. He increased his batting average to .306. The poor Yankees have dropped 7 of 9 and 15. They're 15 and 20 since Aaron Judge got hurt on June 3rd. They're in sole possession of last place in the American League East this late in the season for the first time since 1990. And if you can't remember what happened that year, they actually finished the whole season last place in the American League East. So, it's not looking good for the Yankees. The Angels, they were in position for a wild card berth, but since June 20th, they're 6 and 15. They're 5.5 games behind Houston for the final spot. Severino went 6 innings for only the 3rd time this season. He allowed only 1 run. We talked a little bit about Griffith Canning. He gave up 2 runs in 5 2/3 with 12 strikeouts on 120 pitches. Those are both career highs for this guy, and it is the most pitches thrown by a starter this season. First time since 2015 that an Angel starter has thrown at least 120 pitches. So, hey, they got that going for them. But they're, like I said, between the White Sox and the Angels, who we thought may or may not need to make sell-offs at the trade deadline, I would say it's pretty much set in stone that these two teams are not going to compete and really have no right to keep these players that, you know, they could get a good... I mean, if the player isn't under contract for next year especially, right, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not you like them or want to sign them. The fact is, they're not under contract, and you can actually get a handful of... I mean, think of it. Ohtani, what he could bring back to the Angels could help them compete for years to come. Now, it's a sad thing to trade him away, but he's going. There's no doubt about it. Just trade him to Seattle and get on with it. Josh Donaldson, we talked about being out for the remainder of the season. He's got a grade 3 strain in his right calf, and as I mentioned before, not that Donaldson is a huge fantasy guy anymore, but his strain is a high enough grade to be calling it a tear. So his, whatever you want to call it, he may or may not. When they actually admit that they don't know if they're coming back this season, it's probably a good sign that they're not going to be, because no player wants to be out for the season, and to get him to say that, it probably is a good chance he's not coming back. Nestor Cortez threw a simulated game, with the plan being for him to begin a rehab assignment on Sunday. Tonight you get to see Domingo Germán. He's allowed 5 runs in his last 2 starts. He's going to face Patrick Sandoval, who's not having a good season and very disappointing for us fantasy people. Red Sox beat the Athletics 7-0. It's their 8th win in 9 games. Look at Boston go. Do you remember how they started the season? Excellent. Then they went through, obviously, a period of time where they stunk. Nobody that is reasonable thought that the Red Sox were going to be great this year, okay? Except for maybe Taco, who's a diehard Red Sox fan, and I'm not going to knock him for that because he is a fan, rain or shine. Now, King Hap is a little more realistic here, but here it is. Boston is a 6-1 in a stretch of 12 straight matchups, although against teams under 500. The A's managed only 1 first-inning single, and they lost their 8th straight game and dropped a season-high 46 games under 500. Their freaking record is 25-71. The Red Sox game at Fenway drew the game, I think it was at Oakland, because the crowd was only 9,987. And you have to think to yourself, there's no way Fenway would have less than 10,000 people. So this is definitely an Oakland game, but it says that the crowd was mostly Red Sox fans. Oakland was held to 1 hit or fewer for the 3rd time this year. They were shut out for the 11th time this year. The A's struck out a season-high 18 times, okay? Paul Blackburn, Oakland's starting pitcher, allowed a season-high 6 runs and matched his most hits allowed at 9, pitched 5 2/3. The Red Sox using openers, Brennan Bernardino. He worked 2 innings. Then Nick Pivetta came in, matched his career high, not just season high, with 13 strikeouts over 6 hitless innings of relief. Now, Alex Cora says that he's reconsidering a spot in the rotation given Boston's long stretch of games next month without a break. Now, I will ask you, why fix something that's not broken? Why can't they just continue to use the openers and let Pivetta think that he's a reliever, because he pitches a lot better as a reliever, or so he has this year at least, okay? I mean, a lot of fantasy people, we all know Pivetta's name. We've probably drafted him in the past. We know that he has decent pitching skill, but he hasn't been good at all. So they pushed him into the bullpen. Now, this is the thing. Boston plays 16 straight games without an off day in mid-August. Who cares? You don't need to put Pivetta into the rotation just because you are going that far. Just use an opener and pitch him every 5 days. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a technicality, okay? It's probably not even worth talking about. But I have some extra time. Imagine that. Me with extra time. I'm going to finish this show early today. Pivetta's 13 strikeouts were the most by a reliever in Red Sox history. He became just the 6th relief pitcher since 1901 to strike out 13 or more. It was his 9th career double-digit strikeout game and his first of this season. It's the most strikeouts with the Red Sox after he struck out 13 while pitching for the Phillies in 2018. So, let me ask you, do you think you should put Pivetta back into the rotation just because you have 16 straight days without a day off in the middle of August? Or do you just leave him as a reliever, okay, on the depth chart? Use your couple of guys like Bernardino and whoever else you want as your opener. Because I'll tell you what, today, again, the Red Sox, they haven't announced a starter, except for the fact that they will use another opener today. So keep doing that. It's working for you. That's my opinion. I'd like to hear from the chat room. King Hap, what do you think? Are you still here? All right, let's talk some more Red Sox. And Oakland. Connor Wong hit a 2-run double and singled in a run. He had a career-high 3 RBIs. Justin Turner and Adam Duvall hit sacrifice flies. Rafael Devers, he was held out again with tightness in his right calf. It became bothersome on Sunday. And manager Alex Cora does say he hopes it's only a day. Pablo Reyes will join AAA Worcester on Tuesday to continue his rehab games. Corey Kluber is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment in the minors on Friday. And get this, shortstop Trevor Story could begin a rehab assignment of his own. Connor Wong is slated for an off day today with Jorge Alfaro earning a start. How many times have I dropped and picked up Alfaro this year? Okay? Good grief. Ramon Laureano is set to begin a 5-game rehab assignment with AAA Las Vegas, and Brent Rooker returned to the lineup after sitting out Sunday with a flu bug. The Mariners beat the Minnesota Twins 7-6 to snap the Twins' 3-game winning streak. Sonny Gray, he was pretty good. He cruised through 4 innings but fell apart in the 5th as Seattle sent 9 batters to the plate and scored 4 times. Sonny Gray ended up allowing 5 runs, 5 hits, walked 4, and struck out 5. It was his second straight loss. In his last start before the All-Star break, he was knocked around for 6 runs by Baltimore. On the other hand, Logan Gilbert, it took him 71 pitches to get through 3 innings. He took 26 pitches to get through the first inning, but he did settle down, and that's what we call mound presence. He also made it through the 5th inning with no more damage. He struck out 5. He walked 1. Eugenio Suarez, 2-run homer. That's his 12th of the season. Max Kepler hit a 3-run homer. Paul Sewald got his 19th save. Teoscar Hernandez hit a double. And Joey Gallo hit his 17th home run. Now, tonight, the Twins are putting up Bailey Ober. Bailey Ober has been excellent, okay, recently especially. He's 5-4 with a 2.61 ERA on the season, but he's pitched at least 6 innings and allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in his past 5 starts. In his last 2 starts, he has allowed 1 earned run in 13 innings with 13 strikeouts. So this guy, not as only is he doing good lately, but on the season, his ERA is less than 2. He's going up against another guy who's good, Brian Wu, youngster rookie right-hander from the Mariners. He threw 6 innings in each of his last 2 starts and allowed a total of 3 earned runs all combined. Okay, and that's it. That's all I got today. So we're a little late. This is about the time that Lenny would stop the podcast, but I love having all of you in the chat room, and thank you so much for coming. Laura, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm going to get to meet Laura tomorrow. We're going to a Mets game, and I actually considered whether I should wear my White Sox stuff to the Mets game because the White Sox are coming, but there's no way. The White Sox are so embarrassing. I can't even pretend I'm a fan, but I will admit I have clothing for every team in baseball just in case I go to see a game or whatever. I have I have shirts for every team. But Laura, I can't wait to meet you tomorrow. It's going to be a great day. I have some stuff to take care of today, and I just really look forward to going to the Mets game. Stardog, great to see you. Malpal, wonderful. Say hello to Tina. Boston Paul, Daniel Ferrara. Zelmo's here. Unholy. I don't know. I can't see that far down. Like I said, I can't scroll that far. I can't scroll past Malpal. So if your name is starting before with a letter before M, Boston Paul Daniel, Danny Fuller, the Dodgers Buzzard, DK Lush, Eddie Heckman, Jay Gibbs, JR Matz, Kenny Flamia, Leonard Donaldson, Laura, Lenny, and a cast of thousands. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. And Lenny will be back happy as ever tomorrow.